Welcome back to episode 292 of the Guide and Guns podcast. I'm your host, Troy.
And I'm your other host, Doug.
We use this podcast to talk about guide, guns, and the responsible Christian gun owners' interest. On this week's show, we'll be talking about the much hated and despised New Year's resolutions. You got any New Year's resolutions?
Nah.
I got a few, but, I'm going to recap some of the ones I had last year. I didn't really make public, but how that went. One thing our sponsors, Oath Keepers TV. We appreciate them. Well, what's left of what they have to display out there. Strike TV, putting our shows out there as well. We're broadcasting over on those platforms as we speak. We want to thank Patriot Patch Company. They send us cool patches all the time. I had a pile of them here, and I don't know. Got cleaning yesterday, and I must have moved them. But we got some cool patches. There were some really funny holiday patches. You guys check those out as well. And, of course, Firearms Radio Network. We've been over there since the beginning. They were the genesis of Guide and Guns. And if you've not checked out other shows, the Firearms Radio Network, please check those out. And remember, some of those shows are a little bit more salty. Also,
just a touch.
Just a touch.
Hey, Crossbreed holsters. Hey, you've heard Troy and I talk about it. If you're carrying a gun in your pocketbook, you got one next to your bed, in your truck, or just on your person. Like my new one I'm carrying today. Woo-hoo. Check it out. The new chest rig for the 44 mag. It's the hog hunting rig. I can't wait. Thank you, Crossbreed, for sending that out. And most comfortable holsters in the world. This one is no exception. This thing is nice. I like it. Go check our buddies out at crossbreedholsters.com. Carry the cross. Also, PowerTac lights. Hey, if you're looking for a bright light, man, we were down in Arkansas the other day, and the PowerTac should be getting a lot of headlamp orders coming up. I was showing it off. People, we were out in a big field, and I had the whole field lit up looking at the decoys. And like, man, what kind of light are you wearing? Well, come here, brother. Let me tell you all about it. So they liked it. So hopefully, if you're looking for a light, any kind of light, gun mount, headlamps, whatever, pocket lights, go out and check our buddies out at PowerTac.com and use the promo code God and Guns. They'll give you a 40% discount for just listening to the show.
Good deal. Well, this week's Guide and Gun activities has been actually 2 weeks.
It has.
You had some traveling, and then, of course, last Thursday was Christmas Eve, so we were doing family stuff. So what have you been up to other than those?
Christmas was we didn't do a whole lot for Christmas this year because one of my daughters and my son-in-law had came down with COVID, got tested positive. So they were quarantined. Both are good. They're over it now, and they've got their taste and smell back, and they're young. They're just kind of like a light case of flu for a few days, and they were good to go. But since we were around them, my other daughters didn't necessarily want to be around us. So it was me and the wife. And I still have a Christmas tree up, and it's got just about all the grandbabies' presents under it. So hopefully whenever I'm clean again, they'll all decide to come around, and we can do a little Christmas action then. But let's see, what else have I done? On the God side, of course, I've been doing my Sportsman's Daily Devotional every day, and my hospital devotional. On the gun side, everyday carry. Hey, I've made 2 trips to Arkansas now, and I'm headed back tomorrow for 4 days to go down for. It may be my last one. I doubt it, but it may be. But we're going to go down and shoot some more ducks. I took one of my buddies. My buddy Andy went with us on this last trip. I was down there last weekend, or this past weekend, and first time he'd ever been duck hunting before. And he is hooked. He's done. He got back. He's already went to Bass Pro Shop and bought a duck call. And
is he married?
He is married.
So his wife already hates you, right?
She does. She does. One, for the simple fact that I think it was 30 years ago. In November, I took him on his very first deer hunt.
Oh,
and he killed a deer, and he's been after it ever since. So she really appreciates me doing that for him. And now I've added something new. But hey, I tell you what, he's got a shotgun, man. He bought it a couple of years ago, but the first time he got to hunt with it, he has a Browning waterfowl gun. It's called a Wicked Wing, and woo, man, that thing is pretty.
Oh yeah.
And he hunted with it. I was like, man, that thing's too pretty to be too close to me. You need to set down the blind a little bit so that way Ella don't throw water and mud on it, because she gets my Benelli, man, first trip out and back. She's got mud on her and dirt and water, and she's kicking it off, and I have to go home and tear my gun apart or at the hotel every night and re-oil it and clean it and get the dirt off of it. But hey, it's worth it.
You have to get a tent for her so she can
go
inside, shake it off inside the tent.
Yeah. She's a mess. She got to do a little hunting last week, but I let a guy that had a 2-year-old lab in the blind with us. He wanted to bring his out, and one of the days the first day we hunted with the guy that he had a yellow female, so it's not a big deal. Ella's on her cycle right now, and she's in heat. So the next day it was a guy that had a boy dog. I was like, how old is he? He said, hey, he's not quite 2. I said, he might be all right. And he did pretty good. He'd come down and sniff around every once in a while. I'm like, back, go back up there, leave her alone. And for the most part, they did good, but I let him work his dog. Ella's just happy being in the duck blind and hanging out. She don't care. But let's see, what else have I done? I already showed you the new crossbreed chest rig holster.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be cool. And I can't believe I did this, man. One of my buddies, I let my son-in-law borrow my 6.5 Grendel with the thermal on it the other day.
Ooh, that's a big trust.
When I was in Arkansas, and he was going to take his cousin hunting, and I was like, okay. I said, take it. I said, just be careful, please. And he was. He brought it back. Still works. All good. So he was happy. What you been up to?
Well, on the God side, daily Bible reading, running parents to doctors and stuff's been a weekly thing for the last 3 weeks. So Dad had a couple stents put in probably since the last time that we talked. Follow-up visits and things like that. So overall, he's doing well for his condition, and they're going to watch him for a couple, 3 months, and then might do some more heart-related stuff. And he's got some leg issues with circulation, things like that. So and then mom, and so it's that age, you're taking him to the doctors all the time, so
right.
It's a lot of fun. But that's part of it. I get to spend a lot of time with mom and dad, which is good. I'm glad I'm able to do that because a lot of people don't have the opportunity. So I get to spend a lot of time with them, hearing the stories for the 30th time. But it's been fun hanging out with them some through all this. They don't know whether to be afraid or to be mad about COVID because nobody's like coming to visit. They don't want anybody to come visit, but yet they want people to come visit. It's just that turmoil. Right. On the let's see, I did some security since the last time we were on here, and I got security coming up this Sunday. We did Christmas Eve with most of the family, mom and dad and my son and grandkids and his wife, and had a pretty good time with them on Christmas Eve. Had dinner and a traditional Christmas kind of meal thing. And then on Christmas morning, we hung out here at the house, and Tim, my oldest son, his wife, and my grandkids came over, and we opened presents together and all that stuff here at the house. But it was just a small, just our direct family members here at the house. So, but it was nice and relaxing. Didn't have to go anywhere. I think it was probably 14 years ago, I put my foot down and I said, we're not going anywhere on Christmas Day ever again. We'll go Christmas Eve, the day after, or 2 days before, 2 days after, whatever. We're not going anywhere on Christmas Eve. That's the time we're going to spend at home with our kids. And and man, it has made such a difference. That traveling on Christmas Day stuff, I couldn't do it anymore, man. It's just there was no enjoyment to it. It's just running, 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 and fussing, and so that was a good decision we made back then. Let's see. I've been walking around looking for coyotes with that thermion. Man, I love that scope.
Bad at it.
You can just see so clear. I posted up a video just of me out night walking, like the first week I got it, and I just had some different video clips and I stuck them all together and montage and just to put it out there. But I'm looking for coyotes. All I'm finding is deers and raccoons and stuff. But I'm just going to go set up, and there's this big valley on the backside of our farm, and I'm going to set up a call over there and set me up a kill zone and just whack them. But it has been busy through the holidays, so I haven't had the opportunity. Gunner got a new gun and scope for Christmas, so he inherited my I forgot what was it, the HD night scope.
The 4K Pro.
You're muted. The HD night scope that I had. We're muted on my end.
You got me unmuted?
No, I'm muted. My volume was all the way down. I couldn't hear you at all. That was weird. It must have got stuck between me and the chairs. This clip thing drives me nuts. But he got a AR
4K Pro.
Yeah, 4K Pro. I gave him and he got the AR-10. So he set up with an AR-10 and a 4K Pro, so he can be my wingman. He can look on the night vision side, and I'll look on the thermal side. So
my buddy Andy's over on the YouTube side. He said you need to get you a spy point camera so you can get intel.
A spy point? What's that?
The spy point cameras that send pictures to your phone.
Okay, yeah. Like a nice
that's what we run. I run. I've only got a couple. He's got umpteen of them, but he runs them down in Savannah when we're pig hunting, and man, we get intel on where the hogs are traveling through, what time, the whole 9 yards.
So that's all cellular.
Mm-hmm.
What does that run you for a plan for that?
You can get 100 pictures for free every month, but it don't take long to use them up. But I think mine is like $10 a month, and you can get them on AT&T or Verizon, but it works through SpyPoint. It doesn't go on your phone plan. So, but you can get unlimited on those, and man, it's so cool that you can sit there if you're looking for hogs, like we have them set up over here at Matt's grandpa's house, and if we see them on camera one night, usually they're going to be there the next night, and we'll look to see what time they came through and go over and whack them the next night.
Yeah, I hear where they're at, but where they're coming in the farm, they're coming in down this creek bed and traveling up through that, and so I can't see them down there's a big hill between me and the other side of the farm. Mm-hmm. So I'll have to go over and sit up on the other side of the farm. I know pretty much where they're hanging out a lot at, but if you get like a referral link or something on that spy point, send me a link and I'll check that out.
I can do that.
Let's see what else we got. That was pretty much it. Audrey got, I bought her a stripped lower last year for Christmas and been picking up parts through the year, but it's been sort of hard. And like 3 weeks ago, ad popped up on CDNN for an upper, a 16-inch complete upper. Well, it didn't have the bolt carrier, the charging handle, but it was like $300, and that's like the cheapest I've seen since the COVID hit. And they had like 6, and like I hollered at Chris and said, "Hey, I'm going to buy this for her because I want to finish her gun up." And she goes, "Yeah." So she got an upper for her lower, and I built out everything, and I'm waiting for Brownells to get some parts in to finish hers up. but she's going to have her an AR, and then she's going to want to do she's going to want to do some kind of color with it. So she's probably going to do I don't know, Stormtrooper or Blue or some cartoon themed. yeah,
Right.
kids they want to make it their own. So we're going to work on some way of painting it up, or, or doing what's that thing that Paul's always talking about?
Duracoat.
Duracoat. Might do a
Yeah,
Duracoat on it, something like that. So
have you seen those new gun skins that they're advertising lately?
what
It's
do they do? Stick on, or they
yeah,
rip
it
them, or
press on, but you can hit it with a heat gun, and it loosens it up a little bit where it's like shrink wrapping it.
huh,
Without, I'm actually thinking about doing one. I got one that I need to I want to wrap just to see how it
like
works.
a camo wrap or something?
Yeah, yeah, you can put all kinds of stuff on it. They got stars and stripes and all kinds of stuff, but it looks pretty easy. The guy does the video on it, and he just got a little heat gun. And, he'll get it on there and get it set, and then when he does the corners and stuff, he'll just heat it, and he can stretch it out just a little bit. And it wraps around, and you don't see no crease and stuff in it. It looks pretty cool.
Cool. Yeah, let me know how that goes. They got like anything you want. You could send them their own picture or what.
That I don't know. I'd have to look and see.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, let me know how that goes. EDC. Carrying my STS Staccato C and the crossbreed
Ooh.
Frankenstein. I like my Staccato C a lot. I love that. It's so accurate and
Pretty.
yeah. You know what I almost did over the Christmas holiday was Kentucky Gun Company had a sale on it. I looked to see what they had, and they didn't have a whole lot. They sold, I think they sold everything they got pretty much.
Right.
But I did see that they had the STS Staccato Duo, or the C2. It's the double stack version of this with with the plates you can put on a RMR. They had one or two of those in stock, and I was like,
Yours is a 9mm, isn't it?
yeah. The Duo will hold 15 plus one, so it's like a 19. And of course, the Staccato P is the full size, which will hold a 20 round standard mag, and then I think it'll hold up to a 26 extended mag. But those are really on the big side to be carrying for concealed. I don't know that I could do it anymore. But carrying that, been carrying the Microtech SOCOM for my knife, and of course, I've got the tourniquet and the lifesaver and all that stuff on. So, what are you carrying today besides the big hog leg?
I got the Spartan Auto knife, so toting that around, that goes everywhere with me. And like I said, and she is unloaded, so I got the 44 mag in the new Crossby holster. I'm just trying to wear it and get used to it just a little bit and see how it works. But it fits good.
Good deal. Yeah, it probably adds another pound whenever you put the bullets in it.
Yeah, it does actually. It makes it a little bit heavier. But yeah, it's not bad the way this holster's made. It's got pretty good support on it, so it's not bad at all.
It looks good. Murray didn't send me the one he told me he's going to send me, but me and Murray's going to have to talk one day.
Well, I got to send a shout out to Lindsay. She hooked me up with this one. So Nathan talked to her, and I've been talking to her, and they were waiting. I had to wait a little bit on it.
They had to kill another cow?
They had to kill a cow to get enough founder's leather to do it with. But it turned out really nice. I had a guy that commented on it. He said, "Man, it's got like a sheet of Kydex and a half cowhide on it." I was like, "Well, it takes a lot to make a holster big enough to fit this big old hog leg."
And tell me they can't make a holster for an AR pistol. I don't believe it. I think they do.
I think they could.
It might be a cross draw, but hey.
Right. I've been practicing with it just so I don't, because the barrel's so long, just trying to make sure I don't flag myself with. Like I said, it is unloaded, right? There's nothing in it right now. So I'm just trying to get used to when pulling it and get it set. But it comes out, it stays in good. I haven't tried to stand on my head or nothing yet, but it works pretty good.
Good deal. Yeah, I've made this hybrid Frankenstein crossbreed work for me. I had to do a little bit of trimming and had to do a little bit of heat gun, but it fits good enough. It will snag if I don't pull from the. I need to lead from the grip. If I try to pull back, that front sight wants to snag. It's got a tall front sight. It's got a fiber optic front sight on it,
Right.
and it's a little bit on the sharp side, so it wants to try to grab into the top of the kydex just because of the length of it. So I might take the heat gun back out and do a little flare at the bottom, make sure that sort of funnels in there and doesn't get stuck. And then it's got this Picatinny rail down here at the bottom, put a light with. And that sort of catches on that cross piece of that Picatinny rail.
This one is big enough. I don't know if you probably can't see it, but it's big enough that under the edge of it and stuff, it's probably got a half an inch spacer from the kydex to the leather, just because the thing is so big. Right. But she fits pretty good though. I can't complain.
Good deal. Well, they got all your EDC.
That is it, man.
We got a review, don't we?
Hey, we did get an iTunes review. It came to us on December the 11th. It's one of the best podcasts out there by Mr. Himmler on December the 11th. He said, I've been listening to these guys on and off for the past few years. They have good balance between God and guns. They have guests on the show every once in a while, and you can learn a few things spiritually and about guns. Jokes, yep, they have a few. And all I can say is you can listen to the show with your kids around. Great show, guys. Keep up the hard work. Now will you let my arm go? I wrote a review. LOL. Take my friends and God be with you. So thank you so much for doing that.
We appreciate that.
See, the arm twisting does work occasionally.
Yeah. Who else's arm can we twist?
I don't know. But we appreciate that.
Good deal. Let's see. You got a comedic joke for us.
I too got one. It was kind of good. It kind of fits in with the times that are going on right now. Fisherman and the angel. 3 guys were fishing when an angel appeared. The first guy says, I've suffered from back pain for years. Can you help me? The angel touches the man's back and he feels instant relief. The second guy points to his thick glasses and begs for a cure for his poor eyesight. Then the angel tosses the lenses into the lake and the man again can see 20/20 vision. As the angel turns to the third fella, he instantly recoils and screams, hey, don't touch me. I'm on disability. Don't want to fix that.
That's a touchy subject in some areas.
It is.
All right. So we've got Bible verses for today. We'll be coming out of Isaiah. Pop that up there. Make it big so you guys can read it. It should be bigger than that. I don't know what's not bigger than that. Oh, Isaiah 43. I'm going to read verses 18 and 19. The whole chapter 43 is a pretty cool little read, but we're just going to focus on these 2 today. Remember not the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. You do not perceive it. I will make a way in the wilderness and the rivers in the desert. Again, that is Isaiah 43, verses 18 and 19. And this is referencing Isaiah's prophecy about how God was going to bring the people of Israel back together. They've been separated and and the countries from the north had taken people captive and hauled them away. People from Egypt to haul away people. They'd been attacked and everything because they quit following God. They started following after other gods, little g, and started not living as God had called them to. And so God, when they do that, God would chastise his people because he loves them, and he would cause them great turmoil and troubles because he wanted to have a relationship with them, and he didn't want them following after these other gods. So when they got in persecution, when they got attacked, when they lost the battles, they turned back to God. It's like we do today. Whenever we are walking our own path and not being obedient to God's call, we get ourselves in trouble. What do? We turn to God. We start praying, right? When we get ourselves in a fix, we turn around back to God. So it's important to remember that God made his promise to his people that he would never leave them or forsake them. And even though they were taken into bondage, even though they were sometimes killed, the nation of Israel was always still in existence till today. I mean, the Jewish people are still a people. A lot of the tribes, we don't know where they went to, if they're still there, if they're scattered abroad. A lot of history there, but as far as what God's covenant was, he did what he said he would do. He would keep them and he would protect them. Same thing with the church. We will be around until God's ready to take us out of here and unleash all hell on the devil, right? So, but I thought it was a good verse today, being the first day of the year. Looking back on 2020 was, in a lot of ways, a horrible year for a lot of people. It was a year of loss for a lot of people. It was a year of not being around their families, and but we're looking forward to 2021 and seeing God's blessing. And we don't have to fear. My daughter, we were having a conversation last night, and I'm like, you don't have to fear. I'll talk politics and stuff around the house, and sometimes it makes the kids a little nuts,
Scared.
and the wife.
Scared.
And I'm like, look, you're a believer. You don't have to be afraid. You're okay. It's gonna be all right. God's gonna be with you through everything. Don't worry about it. I said it's not making me afraid. It's making me mad. What it does is it makes me
Right.
mad at the lies and the deceit and the cunning and trickery and the just unbelievable amount of deceit and corruption that we see before us in our politicians and in some of our business leaders and some of the things like that. We see this horrible amount of corruption, deceit, and it makes me angry. And some people might mistake that for fear. I don't have fear because God's in control, baby. I am not worried about that. But the thing that we need to look forward to is that we are the lighthouse, or not the lighthouse. I don't like that analogy. We are the light in this world. We are the salt in this world. And when people are scared and witless, out of their mind, with fear over one thing or another that the government wants to use to control you, and people use fear to control people. If you are aware of that, you will see through a lot of this stuff going on. That we're not to be afraid. We're to laugh in the face of fear. We're to be having a peace that surpasses all understanding. And what that does is, for people who are fearful, they'll look at you and say, "Why aren't you afraid? Why aren't you wearing a mask?" Because I don't go anywhere until God wants me to go somewhere. If God's going to take me out, God's going to take me out. If God wants me to live another 50 years, I'll live another 50 years. Whatever God's will is, that's where I'm at, right? And because I don't have any control over it, he says I don't have any control over it. I can make all the plans I want, but he'll establish my day. He'll establish my path. He'll bless me, or he'll take away whatever it is to his glory. I don't have to worry about tomorrow. I'm in God's hands. I'm in the best place I could be, right? Doesn't mean we just sit and wait. It means that we go on by our lives, being obedient to God, following the scripture, following the commandments, loving our neighbors, loving, everyone around us, sharing the gospel, the things he calls us to do, and just having faith and trust that God is in control. He's not going to let anything happen to you that it's not supposed to happen. If it happens, it's for his glory. And so I'm not going around life fearful, and neither should you. And so we should remember God's promise that He will bring His people back together. He will bless them. He will establish them again. Whatever was lost, He will repay. We don't have to worry about getting even. God takes care of that. We don't have to. We don't have to worry about fighting battles. He says He'll be with us during the battle. Doesn't say we're going to not have to fight battles. He says we're going to be with us during the battle. And so that's just my encouragement going into 2021. Have faith. Don't let people manipulate you with fear, punishment. Paul was beaten. Paul was dragged out of the city, stoned, and everything else. Got up, brushed himself off, and walked on. Right? You can't kill a man of God until God decides it's time for him to be killed.
Right.
There you go. No, nothing to worry about. All right. So that was the Bible verses. I'm going to close that out.
That's like I tell everybody down here, they're all, people are worried. Oh my gosh, do you got COVID? I'm like, I don't know. I don't care, really. What am I going to do if I do?
Right.
God's either going to heal me here or I'm going to go to heaven.
Yeah. A whole lot better there.
I'm a winner either way.
Exactly. I saw a video earlier this morning. It was about the death rates of 2020 compared to 2019.
They're right on track.
Almost the same demographics, the same people. The top median age of death was 78. And comorbidity of this thing is like 96%. So, something's going to kill you when you get old enough. And I'm not trying to be lax about it. They probably would have died from the flu if they didn't die from COVID, or they probably would have died from some kind of pneumonia. These things happen. We're not promised tomorrow. I mean, I've got friends, you've got friends that died this last year that were pretty young, compared to the median age of death in this country.
Yep.
A lot of people our age has passed on. And, but you just don't know. I mean, if you go around walking in fear, you're going to die earlier. I can tell you that.
Have you noticed? I was watching the news the other day, and they were talking. Normally, on an average year, there are 80,000 people die from the flu every year, from complications from the flu. This year they've had like none, no flu cases whatsoever, and they're like, oh, it's because everybody's wearing their mask. Oh, cool.
I heard the thing the other day. He said, the COVID test includes the flu.
Yep.
And something else. So it's multiples. That's something you guys were posting or something.
Yep.
So if it includes the flu, so you're lumping flu in with COVID under the same test. See, that way they can get that money.
Right. Yeah, they started giving the Pfizer vaccine at work, and I'm like, I ain't taking it yet. I ain't going to take it. I'm not that worried about it right now. I mean, I might catch it. I may have a
reaction to it than actually having reactions to the actual COVID.
Right.
The vaccines cause more problems than the actual virus. And I understand if you're 80 years old and you got one lung and you have all these comorbidity things and you think that's going to help you.
Right.
My experience for people who get the flu shot is they get the flu. And so I'm thinking, if you didn't get exposed to it before the shot, you're going to get exposed to it after the shot. I think it's going to speed it right along, but that's using observational logic. But other than that, let's New Year's resolutions. So everybody makes not everybody makes. I used to make New Year's resolutions when I was in sales. I was going to do this many more sales a year. I was going to get this many more listings. I was going to get this many more from work. And you should, push yourself to do better, and that's fine. But as we said earlier, God establishes your pathway. He's gonna bless you, or He's gonna let you have lean times, whatever. It's in His hands. But we should, aim at a target. If you're gonna shoot a target, you want to aim, right? You want to aim at what you want in that target. You want the center of that target. And so that's the whole concept of the resolutions, that we resolve to change things from what we did in 2020 to what we're going to do in 2021. And in 2019, going into 2020, I've for years, since I started this weight loss journey back in 2009 when I was 465 pounds until, this year. At the beginning of this year, I was still like 300 and I think it was 360, 70 at the beginning of last year. I'd gained some weight back and just got really lax and stuff. And then I started doing the fasting in March, but my goal was to get below 300 this year. And I got within 2 pounds of it by the end of the year. Um, and so, and then I ate Christmas dinners and stuff like that. So I got to go back down to 15, 20 pounds from all the holiday meals. But I did that fasting from March until, till all the way up until the election, which is November. So I did fasting all that time. And in that period of time, I lost, about 50 pounds, 55 pounds, something like that in that amount of time. And then since the election, I had not fasted. But my goal is to go back to the fasting again. So I'm going to start again on fasting. That next week I'll start on fasting because this week's over with. But I want to get down to that final goal I've got, and I did go from a size 54 pant down to a size 46 pant. I can get into some 44s, so that was a big. That helps, you feel better. But that's for my health. It's for my longevity. It's for mobility. Climbing up and down in that barn feeding hay this fall has been a lot easier than it was last year, and so getting in that that's a small hole up into that loft, and so I have to sort of put my arm in there and then get through, then put my other arm and climb up through the little hole to get in the barn. So, but I noticed that it was a whole lot easier this fall than it was last year, getting up and down and throwing the hay around, stuff like that. But we all have resolutions, things we want to change. One of the things I've got to work on is in 2020, I was really negative around my family a lot about everything going on. And so I think one of my resolutions I'm going to make for this year is that it is stop being publicly negative or making comments around the family. I know it's hard, but I think I'm going to quit the news. I've quit watching any kind of television news except for like now I watch Epoch Times on YouTube. Other than that, I pretty much quit watching any kind of television news because that just makes me want to throw things and fuss and talk back to the TV and things. What about you, Doug? Any kind of things that you see in yourself from last year that you want to try to make a change on? And our listeners, you guys comment too. I mean, you guys are here watching with us. Any kind of resolutions you guys are making to change in 2021, or things that you looking back that you think, man, I should have done that better?
I would like to. I don't know. I probably should have stocked up on more ammo than what I did. When the price was reasonable. So
Yeah.
if it comes back down, I'm going to stock up tremendously this coming year. But I don't know. I lead a pretty simple life, man. What you see is what you get. I'm the same person day in, day out. Now with the negativity now, I can't agree with you like on that one because I think as I get older, I just got a less tolerance for stupid and I have less of a filter. So I would just tell you,
Mhm.
it doesn't really bother me. And maybe I shouldn't do that quite as much, but
I think it's a process of getting older. I mean, I know my grandparents, the older they got, the more quicker they were to just shoot from the hip.
right. Yeah. I just don't. I'm not really filtered a whole lot as far as stuff like that. If it's stupid, I'll tell you that it's stupid.
Mhm.
And it's an ignorant ideal. I don't sugarcoat a whole lot of stuff, and it just is what it is. So
I
I
can
don't know.
imagine your job at the hospital is pretty hard to keep things in check.
It get it gets interesting at times. I'm not gonna lie,
Uh,
but I don't know. I would love to shoot more this year, but I just don't have the ammo to go out. It's too expensive to replace. I mean, I have the ammo, but I just don't want to feel. I don't feel like replacing it because it is too expensive. So I don't know. Maybe I would like to take some more training classes this year. Maybe.
they had a sale on 'em up until midnight last night.
Who did Bulwarks?
Yeah, they had
Did
uh,
they?
they had 15%, 20% off, something like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was going to buy some for gifts. But they were pretty. I pretty much gifted all that I had for Christmas. It wasn't a good time to try to buy some more gifts, but oh
We
well.
didn't. We didn't do a whole lot. We did for the grandkids, and like I said, Matt and Tara came over last night, and we're going to stay for New Year's, and they're like me, man. They're ready for bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock, and they went home. But McKenna did get to come over. She got to open up her her Christmas presents we had gotten her. But they've had COVID, so yeah, I've already been around them, so it
Yeah,
didn't bother me in the least. I'm like, come on, So
yeah,
I got some big old thick steaks, and we put them on the grill and grilled them last night. And
cool.
they were good. Just kind
Dixie's asking, do we reload? And yeah, I've been reloading now for what was it, about 4 or 5 years, something like that. I guess about 4 years or something. I went and traded a guy some. I don't even remember what I traded him now. I traded a guy for a Dillon reloader, and so I'm now reloading 9 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 357 Magnum, um, 223, 308, 25-06, and 12 gauge. So yep, I reload. I
of
think
you
I
reload
got
44.
no, I don't have a 44 anymore. I traded it off. Uh, but I mean, it's just a matter of buying a set of dies.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that big a deal. When you switch over, the thing about that Dillon 550, you can load like 200 different calibers. Yeah, and you can use whatever kind of dies. I mean, the dies all have the standard size hole to put them in the blocks. So, and then I've got two single stage Lee reloaders. I got it like I guess about seven years ago. I traded a guy a pistol for two Lee reloaders, um, like 20 different sets of dies, like 60 pounds of gunpowder of various forms and stuff, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pistol rifle bullets, brass, reloading bench. I'm looking at it over here right now. Everything I got from him was all on that one bench. I mean, it was probably easily 1,500, $1,600 worth of stuff, scales and micrometers and all the accoutrements you need for reloading a single stage. I had two of them, and so now I've got one single stage sip with a call it bullet remover. So if I make a mistake, I can go over and pull the bullet back out, get the components back out of it, and make it right. Seems like that's really handy for me. And then I've got the single stage other one set up that I reload the 25-06 to get it down to the exact percentage of green that you want to be more accurate with. And then just small batches and stuff like that. I got it set up for that, and then for the stuff I shoot a lot of I'll reload 45 ACP too. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
missed. So, and then I've traded off some of the dies that I'll never have use for. I mean, some 220 Swifts and some Weatherby stuff and all kinds of oddballs that came with it. I've traded them for brass and stuff.
Stuff you can use.
Yeah, I mean, and that, I mean, and what I've been buying over the years, at the same time I was buying bullets, especially the ones I shoot in these training classes, the 9 mils, the 45s, and the 223. I've been buying powder and bullets and more brass and picking up range of brass as I go. If they'll let me pick up brass, I'll pick up my brass and stuff like that. So I've got a lot to reload. Um, so yeah, that's one of the things I want to do more of this year is to reload. So this winter, I can see myself reloading a lot more. But now that I got the thermal scope, I don't know if it's going to happen. At least I'll put a hurt on the coyotes right here because man, I love that thing. I do love it a lot. And there's nothing like it. Just being able to see in the dark
It's
without any
crazy,
light
isn't it?
is just it's just amazing. I mean, the amount of detail you can tell just by the temperature fluctuations. This is temperature change. The thing
You
that
can
this
see
threw me off was the moon. How
the
is
moon.
I guess the moon's reflecting the heat from the sun. I guess that's where you're getting but it's a long way off. Yeah, I can still see the moon with the thermal.
Glowing?
Yeah,
I've never actually looked at the moon with mine.
yeah. That's the first thing I'm like, now wait a second. It's picking up a heat differential between the moon and the Earth. How is that possible? I don't know. I don't know all the details about thermals. I'm not that astute, but I did find that quite all right. And then the jet that went over, I was just looking at the moon and heard the jet go over. I just swung the thing. Well, it wasn't aiming a live armed gun at the jet, but the jet was glowing white, man, just
Oh
hot
yeah.
as could be. But
Hmm.
you know what the temperature is at that altitude? It must be the friction that's causing it to be warmer than the air around it.
Well, the engines are cooking too, so.
Well, I mean, the whole jet. It wasn't just the engine portion. The whole jet
Oh,
was
was it?
white. Yeah, it was a complete white silhouette. It was weird.
That thing is awesome though. I mean,
Oh yeah.
just being able to see stuff that you normally wouldn't see out there.
The next jump up from that, it's like $2,000 to go to the next level, and it's got
Mm.
that higher end. I forget what they call it.
It's a
Purple.
it's a 640 resolution on it versus the 386. I think is what yours is. So if you go up to the
It's supposed
what,
to have a lower micron thing too, like a 12 micron instead of 17,
mm-hmm,
and that's where you get get more depth of field. I think they said, and you get more detail.
yeah.
The lower the micron, the better the resolution.
My wife probably ain't gonna let me get another one anytime soon.
Yeah. I know Krista said, I might like to upgrade. She just looked at me.
You know, ATN
You
is
might
actually
like to live in the barn.
ATN is supposed to be coming out with like my night vision I had. It was a clamp on the Picatinny rail that set in front of your
Yeah.
scope. They're coming out with a thermal that does the same thing, that you just use your optic and it clamps on the front, but it gives you thermal imaging through your scope. So I might look at that. That might be pretty cool.
That ATN, I was looking for the external battery pack that you mount onto the stock, for like a
Mm-hmm.
20,000 milliamp
Uh-huh.
battery.
Uh-huh.
And they have a laser rangefinder that mounts onto that scope, and
Oh
it
yeah.
talks to the scope, and it automatically does the bullet drop compensation based upon the bullet that you've programmed in and the laser rangefinding that
Yep.
mounts to the scope. That is the slickest thing I've seen. I was like, man, Gunner, I might take this back. You're like, I don't think so. I was like, I didn't know it did that. It's like $300 for 1,000-yard one. It was like $420 for the 1,500-yard one, which I wouldn't be shooting 1,500 yards in the dark, no way anyway. So the 1,000
No.
would be plenty. But that was cool, man. And I watched videos on how it does it, and you line it up, and it's got a way to sync it with the scope, and then
Oh yeah.
it's automatically set up, and all you got to do is reach up and touch it, and it will tell you the range at your thing, and it will adjust your zero on your scope to match that new distance.
It's crazy, isn't
That
it?
that is slick. All the while you're recording it in HD video. That
Dude, I'm
is,
telling you, take that 4K Pro that Gunner has and have him record and have you stand off the side, and when you shoot, you can actually see the bullet from your gun cut through the air on his as he's recording it, and you can see the bullet go through.
Cool.
That's how detailed it is.
Yeah. I've got a loophole. I can see the bullet when I shoot. You can see the heat trail.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a 6.5 to 20 on that 25-06 of mine,
Yep.
and you can see the disturbance of the heat in the air, that bullet traveling when you're watching it through the scope.
I got a video on mine that I took. The guy that was hunting with me was using night vision, and I was watching him. And when he shot, the bullet hit on that thermal. You could see the spray come out the other side of the hog.
Yeah.
When it sprayed out, you can see the mist. I was like, man, that's pretty detailed right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the new year is going to require more night vision thermal things. I would like to have a set of nods because I think that would be handy. Just in walking around and observing. I mean, you might see the heat signature, but the thermal would not detail maybe what kind of animal it was. Because like when I first saw that deer, I thought it was a coyote at first because it was sitting down on the ground, and I looked at the ears. I thought those are rounded ears. I think it's a deer. And what stood up, of course, his legs are a lot taller than a deer. But I'm thinking night vision, you probably could see, the animal better, what it is.
You can.
And so I know with my ATN scope, that Gunner now has, I could see it was more like daytime. But the thing about night vision that bothered me was that it bothered my eyes more than this thermal. The thermal doesn't really bother my eyes. With the night vision, after using it, it's like I'm blind in the eye for like 30 minutes or something.
Uh-huh.
It's like this glow in my eye, and like one eye is like glowing. It messes you up. That bothered me more. I think it's just the older we are, our eyes don't bounce back as quick.
Well, that's like with a thermal. I shoot both eyes open all the time anyway. The night vision used to bother me trying to shoot like that. The thermal doesn't.
Yeah, thermal didn't bother me at all. I mean, when I had the brightness, when I first turned it on, started using it, the brightness was a little bit high. I dialed that brightness down, and it was fine. And it didn't bother me at all. And I had my night vision pretty much. I didn't lose much of my night vision, even with the right eye that I was using for the scope. That was something that I noticed was a big change, and that's why I prefer the thermal over night vision as well. But yeah, when I used the night vision, my eye would like be off for even like up to an hour. I come in the house. Still, it felt like it was sensitive to light and things after that.
Mm-hmm.
But so Monday, my New Year's resolution is trying to be less negative, at least not outwardly negative, or not venting my frustrations with the stupidity of politicians and their power seeking, as I have been in the past. I do want to get to my goal weight by the end of this year. I used to make goals that were unachievable, and then that always set me back. So I've learned that I have to make smaller goals, more achievable goals. So in a year's time, I should be able to drop this last bit of weight that I'm wanting to drop. I don't want to get so skinny that I'm weak, because I've been there before. And I don't ever want to be weak. I don't ever want to feel like I don't have enough strength. I mean, I lost so much weight when I was younger that I would go to push on a door, like just a regular closer door, commercial door, and it was like meeting resistance. And I never, in my adult life, have had resistance on a door. I was like, man, why this door get so? I'd lost so much weight. I was so weak. And like that was an unhealthy weight loss. It was a depression-related weight loss, which I went through, where I slept for the better part of 6 months and didn't eat. That's not the kind of weight loss I want. I want to keep my muscle.
Right.
All right, so that's enough talking about New Year's resolutions. We got some patches and stickers if you want to help out the show. They look like this back here behind us. We've got other things on order, but they're not showing up yet. So hopefully soon we'll be able to have that. Subscribe Star. We have got a Subscribe Star account. I went over yesterday because I hadn't got any money from them yet. And they were saying that they were held up by some paperwork, which I'd already submitted. I thought, well, I got straightened out yesterday. But Subscribe Star, it's God and Guns, all one thing together, is where you can find us at. I have a hyperlink in our show notes, if you can find our show notes. Also, want to thank oathkeepers.org. If you haven't checked out Oathkeepers, go over and check them out. Oathkeepers.org. If you have any military, police, first responder, if that's you or has been you, you will really find a lot of people of like mind over there. But go check them out. They're needing volunteers. Go to DC, and that's another thing. I've been thinking about going to DC. But nobody in our group has said they're going to go. I don't know if everybody's afraid to, or money, or just can't get out from work, or whatever. But Jim's going to start doing 300 blackout.
Yep.
That's cool. I looked at 300 blackout. The range is like what, 65 to 100 yards max, somewhere in that range, depending on your bullet. Of course, you're shooting some sonic, so I understand it's for up close work, but you can load those supersonic too.
Oh yeah.
You can shoot them like a 308, but I have a 223. That's pretty cool. 223 lower, or AR-15 lower. Yeah, I'd have to have some suppression before I'd switch to that caliber, I think. So that's my two. You got a couple?
Yep. So Axelson Tactical, they Troy and I both have an Axelson Tactical rifle. They are precision rifles. They make custom rifles, pistols, knives. They got all kind of stuff in the store. If you're looking for a high quality rifle, go check our buddies out at axelsonusa.com. If you find something you like, use our promo code God and Guns. They'll give you 10% off. Also, Palmetto State Armory. Now they're an affiliate link with us, so everything that you buy off of their site through our link, they help us out and send us a little bit of love back. But they're actually starting to get a little bit of stuff in, not much, but it's still, everything's still pretty pricey right now, man. Mm-hmm. Demand is great and not a whole lot of supply to get their stuff. So if you find something you like, you better put it in your basket and get it, or you ain't going to get it. So go check our buddies out at PalmettoStateArmory.com.
I go there, like once or twice a week looking for parts for Audrey's build, and you'll see it. You click on it, it's gone.
Yep.
So if you can't find it, Palmetto State Armory, go there first. I did see right before the show, CDNN has got some uppers and some lowers and some part kits and stuff in stock. Not many. They won't be there long. Every once in a while they get a load in. But check Palmetto first, because they help us. And then just for a FYI, you guys that are having a hard time finding stuff, I saw that CDNN Charlie Delta November. And I've been buying from those guys for 15, 20 years, something like that. Or something else come up. Full 30. We have an account over there. I have never been. I've never loaded up videos over there. I need to start doing that. Jim mentioned that Full 30 is an alternative to YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. Our days of YouTube may be limited. We haven't taken it down yet. We never know. I would have thought we'd lost everything in 2020, but we're still here somehow. Apparently, we're not big enough to be bothered by. And then Andrew, I noticed, mentioned about trapping coyotes. I do have some coyote snares to put out, but you need to be able to go every day and do those, check those traps and stuff. So I have not started setting out traps, but I do intend to do that as well. So, but we've got a lot of dogs, farm dogs that run around here. People don't keep up, so they're not a killing snare. They're just a trapping snare. So that's why I've been a little bit hesitant. I'm thinking about telling my neighbors, hey, keep your dogs up for a while until we snare all these coyotes, just so their dogs don't get stuck in them.
Get a few of them.
Yeah. Okay. So that was that. Armed Citizen of the Week. What we got?
NRA Armed Citizen comes to us from Seattle, Washington, of all places. A caretaker of the Kenmore, Washington storage facility was forced to defend himself when he came across an armed intruder attempting to break into the facility early in the morning on Monday, December 28th. The incident occurred before 12:45 a.m. when the caretaker was making his rounds at the facility when he came across a woman attempting to break her way in and steal items. At some point during the confrontation, the woman pulled out a gun. In response, the caretaker, who was also armed, drew his own pistol and fired a single round at the armed intruder. The woman was struck in the shoulder by the caretaker's shot. Police arrived a short time after receiving the call about the incident, where they found a wounded would-be robber, and paramedics took her to the hospital. She will be booked into the King County Jail once released from the hospital. The investigation is ongoing. That comes to us from KOMOnews.com, Seattle, Washington.
Cool deal. It's always best to be armed when you're encountering a person who's armed. At least you have a somewhat equal chance. You don't really have an equal chance because they surprise you, so you have to respond unarmed first, and then be able to take advantage. John Correa, he's got a set of videos on all these dealing with concealed carry, people trying to stop a attack, or even people unarmed trying to stop attack. It's pretty good videos to watch to make sure that you're situationally aware, showing people that aren't aware and what happens to them, and showing people that are aware and how they're able to respond and deal with the situation quickly, or how they're able to distract an attacker, things like that. So it's a good set of videos you ought to check out. So we're gonna wrap this puppy up. You got anything else, Doug?
That's it for me, man.
I saw Steve said he stopped making resolutions years ago.
Yeah.
I understand that. All right, so we'll send your feedback to Troy at GuyGunsPodcast.com or
Doug at GunGunsPodcast.com.
Please tell your friends about us. Leave us an iTunes review like Dixie did, and like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/GuyGunsPodcast. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter. I think I'm just going to be done with Twitter. I'm just ain't nothing over there but trash anymore, and Trump shooting in the dark. But I pretty much migrated most everything over to Parler as far as Twitter type stuff goes. So we're over at Parler. Instagram, we're still there. Haven't been molested over there yet, but I'm sure the day will come. But we're also over on Wimkin, WIMKIN. We're on MeWe, been there for a long time. I've been on MeWe for, gosh.
Yeah, me too.
5 years or something. Or more, and we're getting a lot more followers over there. It's not the perfect site, nothing is going to compare to Facebook as far as the platform. It'll take them a while to get to that kind of level, but we can communicate, we can post stuff without being molested or harassed or cussed out and stuff like that. Our website, Guy and Guns Podcast, Doug is still working on that. And then what else are we on? MeWe, Parler, Wimkin. I do have a full 30 account. I haven't really populated that. I do have a Rumble account, which I'm going to start populating that because they actually pay for content. So we need to get going on Rumble. So I'll try to endeavor, if I don't go to Washington D.C. this week, to get all that stuff going and rolling. And we've got most of everything backed up that's on YouTube now in case those guys go down. So until next week, Doug, have a blessed week.
And keep your guns close, but keep your Bibles closer. Happy New Year's, guys.
Happy New Year's. Adios. Thanks for joining us.